Our second episode of No Team Orders is just insane after what was an exciting Austrian Grand Prix qualifying. It had everything. It had the drama between Russell and the kid Antonelli. It had both Ferraris in the mix, and it had Max looking like he was going to be on pole before a dramatic crash. Scott, talk about this qualifying. It was exciting. And a little
Well,
they had a little
Max,
controversy too with this George Russell lifting too. Let's talk about that.
well, first of all, Max being Max, pushed the car. Now you see how hard Max is pushing that car beyond what it can do. The car is not very good. They just upgraded it, and it's not very easy or pleasant to drive. That's basically what Max and what Isaac are saying. And what you saw was Max on a pole lap, really beyond what the car should be able to do. And that's why he crashed. He knew he had to make up time in the last sector. That's really Kimi, even more than George, is strong. And, he pushed it beyond where it could go.
To think that George lifted and still was on pole.
Yep.
If he hadn't lifted, I mean, he would have smashed him by probably a little bit more than a barely. Like he got it by this much, but no lift. And add another 2/10, right?
Still on pole. He was on pole by 2/10. And what George said is at the time of when he saw the yellow flag, he was already a full half second ahead on pole. So he would have been more than a half second. What it says to me is my friends at the Three-Pointed Star have a whole heck of a lot of pace in the locker. I think Lewis said it best. He said Mercedes has two modes, regular mode and party mode, that they take out for Q3 during quali. And not much question that George and Kimi were on party mode.
Party mode. They had the whistles out. They had the little streamers going. I heard fireworks in the background. And the fireworks was when Max hit, because when you hit the barriers on the side of your car, that's dangerous. That's where the danger comes in.
It wasn't good. Fortunately for Max, he was at an F1 rated track that had a lot of runoff between the corner and where the barrier is. It had gravel that helped to slow the car down. He slammed on the brakes, and by the time he hit the barrier, he wasn't going that quickly. I mean, he was still going, but he wasn't going, 250 or 200 Ks. He was going a lot slower. I mean, I got to tell you, I've taken that turn on many track days myself at Red Bull Ring and GT race cars, and that is what you think about when you go into turn 8. It's exactly what you think about. You think about exactly what happened to Max happening to you. You're going down a very steep hill, and your car is on the limit, and you're making that turn, and you're always thinking in your head about, I got to watch my speed, because if I don't, I'm going to go flat. You're going to go flying into the wall. But it's a lot more scary in a Formula car than a GT car, which has steel on the side and you're not right on the edge. In a Formula car, that's got to be a really unpleasant crash. Thankfully, they know that that's a high probability crash zone, and it's not Armco, it's not concrete, it's that barrier that deforms, which it did. So I didn't think he was going to get hurt or severely hurt.
But he was on a banger of a lap. And I do think even if he wouldn't have crashed, I think Antonelli, who was actually faster than George was, would have gotten pole. But he had the double yellows. I think George only had one yellow. From when I looked at his cam and I was watching his cam, he only had one yellow. So all he had to do was slow. And the regulations don't say how much you have to slow. It just says you have to lift. And that's what he did. But if it was a double yellow like Kimi had, like, your lap's over.
No, you gotta abort at that point. No, I mean, initially when that happened, I said, oh, he's done. George is cooked. That pole, he's going to get a yellow flag violation. He's gone. He's going to go to the back. And then I looked at the in-car camera as a driver, from a driver's perspective. And I said, wait a minute. He lifted. He saw the single yellow. He lifted, and you can hear him lifting. That's within the rules. And as soon as he was past where Max had crashed, the green came back and he floored it again. And because the Mercedes has the best regeneration in F1, he actually was able, by lifting, he recharged the battery, and he used that extra speed. He pushed down on the battery button, basically, and the car, he regained some of the lost speed because the battery had extra juice by lifting. That makes the MG UK charge.
Now, before we talk about the rest of the top 10, Scott, I want to talk about this merch you got on. I haven't seen this merch. Where'd you get it from? And what race is that for?
Sure. Mercedes came out with this merch last week. It's called the Blue Wonder kit. It's for the British Grand Prix. It is deliberately made for the British Grand Prix. It's got the
inside
sort of print. I've got the shirt on. I've got a T-shirt, and I've got a jacket as well back here.
Wow. I like the inside of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. This is the authentic driver T-shirt. It comes with, you get like a little thing here. So it's interesting.
It's pretty nice. And they're going to be selling that for like 100 and I'm going to say 140, 150. The hat's going to be like 90. The jacket's going to be like 250, 260 at the race.
Yeah, we purchased it as we do online. We went to the team's website like as soon as we saw it. Kind of like the color. Blue is my favorite color anyway. So we went on the team's website like the second we saw it and, got it. It's probably sold out by now.
Oh, yeah.
Or close to. It's one of those special edition, and blue, just like with watches, because I'm sort of a watch guy, like blue is always a huge seller. This is the Mercedes IWC watch. But blue is a huge seller, no matter how you cut it. So I bet you it sells out, especially for the British Grand Prix. It'll probably sell out. But
it'll definitely sell out.
Getting back to that, the other big story in quali was the Ferraris.
Yes, Charles Leclerc is back. Charles Leclerc is back. Charles Leclerc is back. And what Fred said after quali, they interviewed Fred, and he said, hey, he would have had pole at Monaco. He was on pole. He had a great quali pace last week. It's just that, he crashed and he pushed the car too hard. But his pace was always there. And so he barely pipped Lewis. It was very, very, very close. It was 106.11 for George Russell, the pole sitter, 106.34 for Charles Leclerc, and 106.40 for Lewis Hamilton. I mean, that's a very, very close top three. And Antonelli, who actually had to lift, was 106.41, just a pip behind Lewis.
I think that was his first lap. He aborted.
That had to be his first, yeah.
Yeah, he aborted a lap that may very well have put him on pole. He was very close with George. But, look, the Ferraris, I want to be clear about the Red Bull Ring. The Red Bull Ring is one of the more power-sensitive tracks in Formula One. It's got 3 long straights, the straight from turn 9 to turn 1, which is largely, flat, and then it's up a steep hill. And you turn to turn 1, and the run from turn 1 to turn 3 is very, very, very steep and very long. And so that's another straight. This is all power. And then you make that, very sharp turn on turn 3. That's another long straight to turn 4. As a result, it is a very power sensitive track. You need power. And if you're really behind on power, if you were still 40, 30, 40 horsepower behind, like Ferrari may have been, they wouldn't have been this close. And it really shows you that Ferrari has made a step forward. Again, I do think George would have been further out in front of Charles than he was. He probably would have been maybe 0.4 seconds ahead. We'll see what happens in the race, but clearly Ferrari's better on power than they were before.
We were totally right when we did our first podcast yesterday, and we said Ferrari's sandbagging. There's Ferrari sandbagging, and here we go. Ferrari was sandbagging.
Yeah. I mean, they were faster than I thought they would be. They were faster than I thought they would be.
Well, let's hit up and talk about the top 10. Normally, we talk about the top 10 in qualifying, but today we're going to just talk about the top 11 because Alpine also had some upgrades, and Pierre Gasly, one of the guys I like on the grid, especially one in the midfield. He just barely missed Q3. And So Pierre was in 11th. We had Arvid Lindblad, what a rookie who's doing a fantastic job at Racing Bulls. He was in 10th. Liam Lawson right ahead of him in 9th. How they can get rid of this tandem, I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. I want to see more of it.
They're not getting rid of Lindblad. The real question is, will they get rid of Lawson? There's a rumor mill. Some rumors in the F1 paddock are true, some aren't. Liam has scored points in almost every single race this year. He's clearly fighting with Gasly as the best of the rest driver. He's going back and he's duking it out with Pierre as to who is the best in the midfield. You don't get rid of a driver who's in this kind of form. I mean, do you get rid of a Bottas or you get rid of an Ocon, neither of whom are doing well against their teammates? I like both of them personally, but you can justify not keeping them, but you don't get rid of a young guy who's in form like Liam is. You just don't do that.
No, you don't do it.
It's like they didn't get rid of Pierre for the same reason why he was at Toro Rosso or AlphaTauri for so many years, because he was an asset to the organization in that seat. So
the McLarens made a little. I mean, they're back kind of where they were previous races. They're in 7th and 6th. Oscar Piastri's in 7th. Lando Norris is in 6th, and they were what is that? 1,000th of a second apart. 106.50 to 106.51. That's 1,000.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, wow. You can't get any closer than that.
They were close. They were quite a bit off of Mercedes, though. They were a long way from George with the same power unit. So
it's the package. It's the package.
They done got some work to do.
They got work to do.
They'll get there, though.
Max on 5th place on his previous lap, 106.47. Kimi Antonelli in 4th. Lewis Hamilton in 3rd. Charles Leclerc in 2nd, and George Russell in 1st. What do you see for tomorrow's race?
I see Kimi Antonelli coming through the Ferraris.
Did you hear that after qualifying, one Toto Wolff came out and said, we're going to see what we can do to get Kimi to the front? Did you hear him say that?
I did. And
wow.
He said it in the context of Kimi starting behind the Ferraris. So the real question is, was he referring to the context of getting past the Ferraris, or was he saying Kimi's been, as he said, Kimi's been the fastest guy on track. The dominant driver is what he put it all weekend long. So it's not clear what he meant.
It's not clear what he meant, but we can kind of pontificate and think that he's trying to get Kimi, who's in the lead at the championship, to the front.
Yeah.
It's going to be a 2-3 stop race tomorrow.
Well, Kimi also said that, he also said this week that Toto said there will be team orders if it's a situation where the Mercedes could lose ground to a team that's pursuing them. That their only reason the time there won't be team orders is if they're way out in front.
But here at no team orders, we say no team orders. Let them race. Let them race. Let them race. No politics. Let the best driver win. You know what's strange? Even though it's hot as a bugger out there and people are running to get, did you see these pictures and videos of France when they opened up, they got some air conditioners and people were trampling, because they don't have air conditioning in Europe like we do in America. And all the people from the World Cup are like, wow, they have air conditioning. Wow, I can't believe it. Wow, they give you bread with your meal and we don't have to pay for it. Wow, they give you water and it's free. And you can use the bathroom and you don't have to pay for it. America's kind of good. Oh,
that is true. When you go to Europe, you got to have that little coin to use the bathroom or you're in some serious trouble at a restaurant.
I remember the first time I went and I was like, wait, I got to pay for the bathroom? I don't have any change.
You do. You got to get change or else. But the funny part about the Red Bull Ring is that one of the things that you see a lot is people doing this on the pictures. It's normally not that hot in Spielberg, but there is today.
But they also said there could be thunderstorms tomorrow.
Let me tell you, the last time I was at the Red Bull Ring with Monfi Racing, there were horrific thunderstorms. So bad that they had to cancel about the last 3 hours of the Master GT3 RS course because it was dangerous.
Now, we were there 3 years ago. We were at the Red Bull Ring 3 years ago. Sunny, completely sunny, hot.
Yep.
Then it started raining. Like, out of nowhere. I thought it was in Hawaii. I was like, what the frick is going on here?
I mean, for a while, I was driving the car with summer tires going through rivers, just, trying. I was having fun. I didn't think I was going off. I wasn't coming close, but they decided it was too dangerous. So there went the fun. But yeah, there can be big thunderstorms there.
Scott, give me your top 3 for tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, boy. Kimi?
Well, that's a stretch.
Lewis? And George.
George is going to drop 2 places. At the start or during the race?
During the race.
Or in the pit stop?
And they're not going to do that to him.
George, you have to come in. Your tires are worn, George. You got to come in.
We'll see. I think there's going to be a battle between Kimi and George. And I think there's going to be a battle between Lewis and George. We'll see.
We'll see tomorrow. I'm going to go with Kimi because the pace is just there.
It's there.
And with 2 to 3 pit stops, Kimi's going to come out ahead. I like Lewis pipping Charles at the start, to be honest.
That could happen.
He's just been starting better. He's just at one with this car and this iteration of the car, his reaction time. I just see him taking Charles at the start. And if George, because they've been having little boggy starts, this Mercedes. So if he bogs down, I could see the Ferraris in the lead of the race, and then all of a sudden Kimi reels them in. And that's how I think the race is going to go.
Yeah, Kimi has such incredibly fast race pace. I mean, he's had by far and away the fastest race pace of anybody in F1 all season. And I don't think that's going to change. I think he's going to be faster than George. No disrespect to George, but I'm watching the season, and no one is faster during the race than Kimi Antonelli is this season. And I think that's going to come to pass at Red Bull Ring. I mean, if you have fast race pace at Red Bull Ring, it is easy to overtake. There are a lot of overtaking. So I have a lot of laps at Red Bull Ring, and it is really easy to overtake. There's so many straights, but between, there are 3 long straights. You can overtake at the first straight, going to turn 1, even easier, up to turn 3, or going down to turn 4. There's a lot of places to overtake. And if you have faster race pace, somebody in front of you cannot keep you behind there.
Well, thanks for joining us for our second episode here at No Team Orders.
But there will be team orders tomorrow at Mercer.
There will be some. I hope there won't. But if it becomes where Kimi has to overtake a Ferrari or Kimi has to do something to be in the lead, I can see this happening tomorrow, unless George is so far ahead that there's nothing they can do about it.
I don't see that happening, but we'll see.
We'll
I hope
see.
for George that he builds a big gap and that, he comes back into this. It'll make for a more interesting season.
Thanks for joining us. Full stop. Full send. See you next time at No Team Orders.